Hello everybody, it's me Jones J here. New York City is the biggest city in the US and one of the biggest cities in the world. It has almost everything to do for any type of person, which makes it a very attractive place to visit for all visitors around the world. Unfortunately though, New York City's three main airports have been labeled as the worst in the country. Old, dirty facilities, congestion, and delays can make the experience extremely miserable. But out of the three New York airports, LaGuardia was commonly referred to as the worst. It was so bad that former US Vice President Joe Biden referred to it as a third world country. After New York officials heard that, they wanted to make the bad jokes a thing of the past, and have designed and started rebuilding LaGuardia from the ground up. This is LaGuardia's $8 billion mega overhaul. Before we begin, make sure you are subscribed with the notification bell on so you can stay up to date on the latest architectural projects and statistics. The site that LaGuardia was built on was actually originally an amusement park called Gala Amusement Park. Later in 1929 though, the land was repurposed for a private airfield. The initiative to develop the airfield for commercial flights came with an outburst from New York City's mayor, who at the time was Fiorello LaGuardia, when he was on a TWA flight to Newark Airport in New Jersey, which was the only airport serving New York City at the time. He demanded that if his ticket says New York, he should be landing in New York and not Newark, New Jersey, and ordered his flight to land at Floyd Bennett Field. He then urged New Yorkers to support a new airport within the city, and soon after, American Airlines accepted LaGuardia's offer to start a trial program of scheduled flights to Floyd Bennett, which is modern-day LaGuardia. The program ended up failing after several months though because Newark's airport was closer to Manhattan than LaGuardia. LaGuardia went as far out as to offer police escorts to airport limousines in an attempt to get American Airlines to continue operating the trial program. Soon after, they convinced American Airlines to stay, and in 1939, American Airlines opened its first Admirals Club, also the first private airline club in the world. The airport was soon designated that year as the New York Municipal Airport, and opened for business in December of that year. The airport ended up becoming successful, and it competed with Newark Liberty Airport for New York City passengers. The airport would later be renamed after Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia, hence its current name. When looking at LaGuardia on a satellite map, you can easily see that the airport has maximized itself in size over time, and that there is nowhere really to expand to keep up with modern demands. Combine that with how small the airport already is by today's standards, the huge population of New York City, and being the primary New York City airport for domestic travel, LaGuardia has some of the worst congestion of any airport in the country. In addition, the terminals have grown to also be some of the most dirty, worn out, and depressing terminals ever in an airport. Combine that with the outdated and inconvenient layout of the airport, which doesn't even allow you to get to another concourse without re-entering security, and people have not had very nice things to say about the airport. As said at the beginning of the video, the former US Vice President Joe Biden referred to it as a third world country. LaGuardia has a lot of problems, and given the airport's small size, that only made redevelopment of it much harder and more expensive. The developers had to completely redesign the airport to improve the passenger experience, while also making the best use of the space that they had, which was an incredible challenge. Thankfully, they seem to have solved it with the new design of LaGuardia. As you can see from the renderings, the new airport looks radically different from the old one from the inside and outside, but the physical layout of the new airport itself has a lot of innovations to solve the congestion problems at LaGuardia while efficiently using the smaller space that they have at the airport. For those of you who have watched my video on Salt Lake City's new airport, I explained the three main designs used for commercial airports over time, and explained how the satellite concourse was the most efficient design to reduce congestion since it gives the planes more route options from the gate to the taxiway and vice versa. I highly recommend checking out that video for a more detailed explanation. Link is in the description. I also am going to be releasing a video sometime soon that explains airport designs and how to design a good airport using different techniques, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that video. LaGuardia's airport introduces a new type of concourse design that I like to call a connected satellite concourse. This is basically exactly like a satellite concourse, only a skybridge connects it to the main terminal and is high enough to let aircraft pass underneath it. This design approach allows aircraft to have the same benefits as satellite concourses, like having multiple route options for planes to navigate the airport, while also efficiently using the smaller footprint of LaGuardia. It's genius. For a more in-depth background on how the architects designed these new concourses, I highly recommend you watch this video on Wired's YouTube channel. Link is in the description. Basically, an airport expert explains how they came up with the new connected satellite concourse design in LaGuardia and the benefits that it brings. And of course, these new concourses offer a very nice new interior, with lots of windows to let in a lot of natural light, and plenty of restaurants, shops, and other amenities. While the airport might not be as impressive as, say, Singapore Changi International Airport, which is commonly rated as the best airport in the world, or as impressive as some of the other bigger airport projects I've talked about on my channel, it still definitely looks worlds better than what the old airport was, and should serve the people of New York City very well. In summary, LaGuardia Airport is transforming from one of the worst airports in the country to one of the better ones. The new innovative concourses will help ease congestion while providing a much nicer passenger experience. Be sure to let me know in the comments what you think of the new LaGuardia Airport down below. Do you like it or dislike it, and why? Thanks a lot for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.